Presenting the world's greatest mysteries. And now, your host.
This is Basil Rathbone. Everybody loves a mystery, and I'm no exception. And that's why it gives me so much pleasure to act as your guide on this series. You see, we've gathered together some of the finest mystery stories in the world. Stories from many places and from many times. Some of them are up to date, well, as up to date as today's newspaper. Others are classic stories of the past. But today's mystery, for instance, it takes place in Europe, the Europe of modern times, a world of intrigue and suspense where a man's life can count for very little when a country's future is at stake. Mike, our storyteller, works in the Paris office of a famous American newspaper. His job is to look for the stories that make the news, and he finds them in the places where the news is made. In a moment, our play begins.
Presenting Europe Confidential.
And do not get any ideas yourself, Canoy. I was here at the club last night, and Louise can prove it.
Yeah, so she can. Well, if you ever change your mind about that, you know where to find me. At the office.
Get out of here.
I'll be there all day.
I said get out, and take your crazy friend with you.
In a moment, we'll bring you Lionel Merton as Mike Canoy, the Paris correspondent of a famous American newspaper, in another exciting story in our series, Europe Confidential.
This is Mike Canoy. Across the square from my office in Paris, there's a fountain erected as a monument to some city father of years gone by. The name of the elder statesman isn't important to this story, but the fountain itself is. At night, it's floodlit, and from my office window, I can see the fountain and the groups who gather to make it a meeting place. Some nights, I could single out Francois Devin, where the crowds were less dense than usual, but whether I could see him or not, I knew he'd always be there. It was something of a legend around the square, Francois' devotion. Well, in a city like Paris, that really counts for something. The tale was told to me first, many months before, by a bartender in the Café d'Alsace, a knowledgeable lad named Philippe.
Now, there is a story you should write, Monsieur Canoy.
Uh-huh.
That boy, waiting out there by the fountain, you see the one I mean?
Who is he, Philippe?
Oh, he is nobody important. His name is Francois Devin. I think he's a clerk in a government office, but every night he waits there.
For whom?
Her name is Florette. She's a dressmaker's apprentice. She comes to meet him at night when the clock in the square strikes 8.
Every night?
They have not missed a meeting once in the 4 months. ever since they first met here in this bar.
Some romance, huh? She must be quite a girl.
Oh, she is not, how you would say it, beautiful. Just a nice girl with a nice smile.
Mhm.
But they are in love. And every night she crosses the square to meet him. And it makes all of our hearts a little lighter to see the way they meet. You shall write a story about it, Monsieur Conroy. It will be something for your column.
My friend Philippe the barman is an incurable romantic. I explained to him that stories are not found in two ordinary people being happy together. Yet, in spite of that, I found myself becoming interested in the meetings of Francois Devin and his Fleurette. In time, I got to know Francois, just casually. Once I rated an introduction to Fleurette. She was a nice girl, too. She was his first love. There'd never be another quite the same. I guess, like everyone else in the quarter, I got pretty fond of the two of them. Well, then, a couple of nights ago, I was on my way to circulate through the city in search of copy. I passed the fountain. It was a few minutes off 8, and Francois was waiting.
Monsieur Conroy.
Hi, Francois.
Hi.
Not being stood up, are you?
Stood up? Oh, no, not stood up. It is only 2 minutes to 8. Fleurette will be here soon.
Yeah, you're a lucky guy.
I am lucky. Fleurette and I, we are lucky together.
Well, you look after her, kid. They don't come along every day of the week.
I know what you mean.
Maybe you'll let me buy you and Fleurette a drink or a cup of coffee. I'll be over in Philippe's bar if you care to join me.
Oh, merci, Monsieur Conroy. That is kind of you. Fleurette would like it.
Okay, then. I'll be at the corner table. So long.
Au revoir, Monsieur Conroy.
I walked away, not wanting to intrude on the moment when they met. As I reached the opposite side of the square, the clock in the church tower struck the hour of 8. I stood for a moment, watching the people pass, and then behind me, on the side of the square, screened from my view, I heard it happen. A woman screamed, a car skidded. I sensed, rather than heard, it rev its motor and roar away, and as I turned and ran toward the scene of the accident... Excuse me, sorry. Look, if you don't mind, thanks. Francois, you here? What happened? I saw a car tear off. It was too far away to get the number. Looked like a hit and run. Well, what... Francois...
He did not even stop, just drove away.
Fleurette.
He did not even stop.
Well, I'll call an ambulance and a doctor.
No, she does not need them, not anymore. Let go of me, let me out of here.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Where are you going?
I'm going to find him. I'm going to find the man who killed her. I'm going to find him.
In time of stress, no two people react the same way. I knew that when Francois Devin ran from the scene of the accident, he was suffering from shock and grief. I knew just as surely that for his own safety, I had to find him. But a sudden surge of the gathering crowd separated us. By the time I disentangled myself from people around me, Francois had disappeared. By then, the police had arrived and were busy questioning witnesses. So I stayed to see if anything would come of that. About an hour later, I was talking to Sergeant Lemaire of the local precinct about his lack of progress.
Monsieur Conroy, you can put this in your column. People who run an innocent girl down and refuse to stop, they are just as much a killer as a man with a gun or a knife.
I'll quote you, Sergeant. Didn't anybody see the number of the car?
Everyone is concerned with their own affairs. By the time the car accelerates, it is too late.
But it seems impossible in a busy place like this that nobody'd get the number.
No, it is an unfortunate fact. And now, we must find the fiancé. Nobody seems to know where he has gone.
Oh, I guess he'll turn up. Poor kid, he hardly had time to realize what had happened. Must have been right in front of his... Yeah, that's right in front of his eyes.
What bothers you, Monsieur Conroy?
I'm not sure yet. Just an idea. I'll work on it. Good night, Sergeant. In Paris, government offices open at 9 a.m., and promptly at that time the following morning, I was at the door of the motor registry office. But at first, I seemed to have drawn a blank. There was no sign of Francois Devin, and the clerk at the desk did not seem to remember him.
Monsieur, I cannot recall any one of this description. Besides, we have only just opened. Except for a telephone call, you yourself are the first customer this morning.
Well, maybe I'm too early then. Mind if I wait?
If you have the time to spare. You will not object if I resume my work?
No, go right ahead. Say, did you just mention a telephone call?
Oui, monsieur. A gentleman wished to know the ownership of a car bearing a certain number. That is why we are here. I gave him the information.
The guy on the phone, did he sound young?
Youngish, a little excited, I thought.
He gave you a car number and asked for the owner's name and address?
Oui.
Well, can you give me that same information?
Oh, monsieur, what is the purpose of this inquiry? Is there some reason?
There's some reason why you should tell me. Sure there is. A very good reason. I'm trying to prevent murder.
Monsieur,
Just give me the name and address. Quick, it's important.
the number of the car was 845-CT716.
Look, never mind that.
The owner's name is Henri Lafarge.
Lafarge? The nightclub king?
I wouldn't know, but his address listed here is the Club Flamingo, Rue de Midi, Paris.
I knew Lafarge, all right. Without being told, I knew where to find him. I went to the Club Flamingo on the Rue du Midi, and after being kept waiting about 10 minutes, I was shown into Henri Lafarge's private office. Sumptuously furnished, if you like glitter and leopard skin. Lafarge himself, thick-set, gray-haired, faced me from behind a massive desk. There was a blonde over in the corner whom I recognized. The club's latest songbird, Lafarge's regular companion. We were introduced.
Thierry, I want you to meet Mike Conoy, who writes the column Europe Confidential. Conoy, this is Louise Ferrier. You should give her a mention in your column sometime.
Nice to meet you, Miss Ferrier.
I have heard of you.
Now, Cherie, it is too early in the morning, huh? Sit down, Conoy. What is on your mind?
A girl who was knocked down last night in a square outside our office block.
What are you saying?
Knocked down by a car. She died. The police are looking for the hit-and-run merchants.
What is this? Some kind of conspiracy, eh?
I guess somebody beat me to it, did they?
There was a young fool here just before you arrived. Had a gun with him, mouthing all kinds of stupid threats. Now you...
Well, Lafarge, just for the record, where were you last night around 8?
I was here at the club. Louise was with me.
Is that right, Miss Ferrier?
Of course it's right. Isn't it, Louise?
Oui.
She was a nice girl, this gal who was killed. You should read my column this morning and find out.
We don't take your paper. Whatever ridiculous idea made you come around here, Conoy, you'd better get it out of your head fast. That kid was crazy. He deserves everything he got.
Where is he?
Downstairs in one of the rooms. My boys had to take a gun away from him and tidy him up a little. If he's a friend of yours, tell him to forget his crazy notions and stay away from here.
Yeah, I'll tell him.
And do not get any ideas yourself, Conoy. I was here at the club last night, and Louise can prove it.
Yeah, so she can. Well, if you ever change your mind about that, you know where to find me. At the office.
Get out of here.
I'll be there all day.
I said get out, and take your crazy friend with you.
I went downstairs into the empty Flamingo Club, and one of Lafarge's goons shadowed me to a small room where I found Francois Devin. The boys had taken care of him all right, with just a little too much enthusiasm for their work. I got him out of there and got him to a doctor, where we learned that his left arm was broken. I stayed around while they put the splints on it, and then escorted him home. You feeling better now, kid?
He was the one, Monsieur Conoy. He did it.
How'd you know that?
I saw the number plate. I saw it clearly.
Oh, you should have told the cops, kid. That wasn't a smart way to go about things, you know.
He killed her, and he did not stop, like you'd kill a dog. I could not think of anything but that.
You sure you got the right car number?
I know it. And after this morning, I'm certain it was him.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Okay, now listen. You stick around here and don't try anything else. I'll send a Sergeant Lemaire around to see you, and you can tell him the story. Not that I think it'll help now. Lafarge is too smart not to cover up.
But he cannot get away with it. He must not.
Well, maybe he won't. I'm backing another hunch.
What do you mean?
A blonde with blue eyes. I've got to get back to the office in case she calls. I was working on no more than a hunch, an unsure feeling that I'd seen in the eyes of the singer who called herself Louise Ferrier. I was wondering if she'd read my column like I suggested, because in that column was the story of Francois and his fleurette, and how their lives had been smashed by a speeding, reckless killer at the wheel. I had time to sit around and think, with sad irony, that there never was a story in those two kids until tragedy had put an end to their happiness. Then, 12:30 p.m., the phone on my desk rang. Mike Canoy.
Monsieur Conoy, this is Louise Ferrier.
Why, hello, Miss Ferrier.
I read your column. Look, I have got to see you.
Sure, anytime.
I finish rehearsal here at 3. May I come to your office?
I'll be waiting for you, honey. And don't be worried now. There's no crime in being a passenger, Miss Ferrier. You weren't at the wheel.
I cannot talk anymore now. I must go. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I loafed around, filling in time, waiting for Louise Ferrier. Meanwhile, there was a call from Sergeant Lemaire. He'd checked on the information given him and come up with nothing to work on. I figured it pretty much as he explained.
Like you, Monsieur Canoy, I have my suspicions, but on suspicion alone, I can do nothing.
Does Lafarge stick to that same story, that at 8 last night he was in the club?
Oui, he does. And he says that a witness will support him.
Yeah, Louise Ferrier.
Oui, the singer at his club. Mademoiselle Ferrier was not available to confirm the statement. She had finished rehearsal and left. But I expect to reach her at her apartment later in the afternoon.
Wait a minute. She's left the club already? It's only 2 o'clock.
Is there something strange about that?
Well, maybe not. But where can I reach you if I need you?
I am at headquarters. And, Monsieur Canoy.
Yeah?
A word of warning.
Oh?
If the impetuous Francois Devant is a friend of yours, I would talk to him. He is a very emotional, excitable man. And threatening to kill Henri Lafarge in my presence is not of very good sense.
He did that, huh?
Several times.
Yeah, he's still in a state of shock, I'm afraid. He was roughed up pretty badly this morning.
Oui, I realize that, but he went to the Club Flamingo with a gun, so the fault is on both sides. You understand, as a friend, I would simply tell him to take care.
Well, the afternoon dragged on. 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30 came and went without a sign of Louise Ferrier. Then around 4 p.m., there was a knock at my door, and I called to come in, but it wasn't Louise. Sergeant Lemaire.
Canoy, mon ami, this is an unfortunate affair.
Well, what do you mean?
A great shame.
What's happened?
Louise Ferrier, the singer at the Flamingo Club. Devant told me there was a woman in the car, and that her hair was blonde. And now, in a state of shock, he has killed her.
What?
It is true, monsieur. An hour ago, we received a call. A shot had been heard in the apartment where Mademoiselle Ferrier lives.
Oh, no.
We reached there and to find her dead.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Surely not Francois.
His fingerprints were on the gun, and he was seen leaving the woman's apartment. I'm sorry, Monsieur Canoy, but it seems certain he killed her. We have placed him under arrest and charged him with murder.
That evening early, I went to police headquarters and was granted an interview with Francois Devin. He was pretty badly shaken, but otherwise much calmer than he seemed earlier in the day. I had a question to ask him, and I asked it point blank, and I got the answer that I'd expected.
I did not kill her, Monsieur Canoy. I swear I did not kill her.
Well, there's a pile of evidence stacked up against you, Francois.
But I had no reason to kill her. It was only her friend Lafarge who I wanted to kill.
Well, the threats you made against him have set you up as an obvious suspect for this. But there's a couple of explanations I need before I can try and do anything to help you.
What are they?
Well, first of all, your fingerprints were found on a gun beside the dead woman.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, you were seen leaving her apartment soon after the murder.
Well, that I can explain.
Well, then come on, let's hear it.
Well, I was at home after the police sergeant left me.
Yeah?
The telephone rang. A voice, it seemed muffled, told me to get in touch with Mademoiselle Ferrier
that she had some information to help me.
A male voice?
Oui, I think so. The voice gave me her address and told me to go there, that she would be waiting for me. So I went.
Yeah, go on.
When I reached her apartment, the front door was open. I knocked and went in. Well, that's when I saw her. She was lying there on the floor. Then I heard 2 gunshots from right behind me. The door slammed just as a gun landed on the floor beside my feet.
But Louise Ferrier was already dead.
Yes. I suppose I did not think. I picked up the gun and suddenly realized what I was doing and how it would look. Besides, the gun, she felt awkward in my right hand. That's when I turned it around and, well, you know the rest.
Yeah.
Look, you've got to believe me.
No, don't worry, Francois. I do believe you. Have you told this story to the cops?
They laughed at it.
Yeah. Did they allow you to make a statement and sign it?
No, they said to think it over and then to tell them the truth. But that is the truth.
Look, supposing I got you a pencil and paper. Could you write that story out in detail just the way you've told it to me?
But this is absurd, Connoy, mon ami. I tell you, the case is open and shut.
Yeah, maybe so, Sergeant, but I'd like to try a little experiment with your permission.
Huh?
After all, you want to see justice done, don't you?
Oui.
Well, then, look, give me a pencil and paper, and ask Henri Lafarge to come here and make a formal identification of the prisoner. Sergeant Lemaire was far from enthusiastic, but he finally agreed. Lafarge was requested to make formal identification, which he did, and was then given the prisoner's explanation verbally, which he scoffed at, of course, with a great show of indignation. Yeah, Henri Lafarge was laying it on pretty thick.
Mon Dieu, I blame myself, Sergeant. Gentlemen, this madman here came making threats earlier today. But how could I have known these threats were directed at poor Louise?
I did not kill her.
Enough, Devant. We have had your statement. You get a chance in the law courts to prove it.
Just one thing I'd like to know. Lafarge, what made you let Louise go early from rehearsal with the band?
Early? I do not understand.
Wasn't she due to rehearse until 3 o'clock?
Oh, no, of course not.
You might check on that with the band leader, Sergeant. You see, Louise Ferrier told me on the telephone that she wouldn't be free until after 3 p.m. That telephone call was interrupted. I've got a hunch that Louise Ferrier died soon after she put down the receiver.
You are out of your depth, Connoy. This is nonsense.
Find out from the band leader, Sergeant, whether Louise Ferrier went up to Lafarge's office and didn't return. Whether he went looking for her and was told that she'd been given the rest of the afternoon off.
Would this be correct, Monsieur Lafarge?
Well, it could be. I do not see that it makes much difference, though.
Well, in fact, that is what happened, isn't it?
Oui. I let her off early. She went home. And this madman killed her.
She went home already dead. You got her into her apartment and then looked for a way out. You thought of Francois, the perfect patsy. So you phoned him up, and the rest we've already heard.
Absurd. You are crazy, Connoy.
That's a favorite word of yours, Henri. Sergeant Lemaire, maybe you'll take a look at this piece of paper. On it, you'll find a signed statement by Francois Devin telling his version of what happened.
But I have already
Take it,
read...
take it. Here, take it, Sergeant. Have a good, close look.
Very well. But I do not understand. This is impossible to read. What kind of a silly prank is this, Mr. Connoy?
It's no prank. The writing's a mess. The same as you and I might make if we tried to pen a note with the wrong hand, Sergeant.
What are you saying, Connoy?
Oh, now you've got it, Lafarge. Francois is left-handed. And as you know, his left arm is broken. You should know. Your boys did the job. I think ballistics can tell us a gun was fired right-handed.
Yeah,
by a right-handed man. Stop him! Well, nice unarmed combat, Sergeant. Whether ballistics can prove all that or not, I don't know. But maybe you've got all the proof you need. After that, Henri Lafarge's composure fell apart at the seams. He admitted to killing Louise to stop her from contacting me, and he confessed to trying to plant it on Francois. Well, that's the story. Marvelous what a bit of bluff can do, isn't it? Oh, I forgot to tell you. We faked that note. Francois was ambidextrous. He could have handled a pencil or a gun equally well with either hand. Goodbye now.
You have been listening to Lionel Merton as Mike Connoy in another exciting episode in the series, Europe Confidential.
This is Basil Rathbone again. We've reached the end of today's story, but I'll be back to introduce to you another unusual tale. Remember, for this series, we've searched the whole world to bring you stories of every kind. Tales of espionage, suspense, crime, and intrigue by famous writers from every part of the globe. In fact, a selection of the finest stories that have ever been assembled in one series. Well, goodbye now till we meet again to listen to another of the world's greatest mysteries.
Presenting the world's greatest mysteries. And now, your host.
This is Basil Rathbone. Once again, it's my pleasure to bring you an intriguing story of mystery. Today again, we have as our storyteller the young American newspaper man whose home is Paris and whose beat is Europe. Europe, a continent full of all the ingredients beloved by mystery writers and yet in reality twice as mysterious. Today's story is particularly full of suspense and yet is founded on fact. Of course, the names have been changed, but little else. There's a well-known saying that truth is stranger than fiction. Our story today is not only stranger, but more thrilling, more full of suspense than anything fiction can offer. Come with me then on another journey to the places where only a man in search of adventure would travel. In a moment, our play begins.
Presenting Europe Confidential.
Oui, Connoy, I have some news for you. Old Bonique is dead.
Dead? But the doctors thought he had a fair chance of recovery.
Bonique did not die from natural causes.
What?
At 4 o'clock this morning in his hospital bed, he was stabbed to death. Well, what do you think of that, huh?
In a moment, we'll bring you Lionel Merton as Mike Connoy, the Paris correspondent of a famous American newspaper, in another exciting story in our series, Europe Confidential.
My name is Mike Kanoy. I write a column called Europe Confidential for the Paris edition of a New York paper. The English have a television program called Animal, Vegetable, or Mineral. In this show, 3 experts try to guess the nature and origin of certain objects that are shown to them. The objects are usually museum relics, and the show is broadcast live from museums in England on the continent. Last March, it was to be broadcast from the Montarde Museum here in Paris. And as there wasn't much news around, I thought I might be able to get a story from my column out of the show. To get a bit of background, I rang the director of the museum, Monsieur Gaston Dutable. He was very obliging and invited me out to his home that evening. And quite a home it was, too.
Another drink, monsieur.
Thank you very much. Well, if I may say so, Monsieur Dutable, you have excellent taste. Your home is one of the most pleasant I've seen in Paris.
I like to be comfortable.
Yeah, everything in this room seems to fit, if you know what I mean. Wallpaper, the furniture, the carpets, the paintings, the ornaments.
Merci.
I suppose you've managed to amass quite a personal collection of relics.
Oh, no, monsieur. Nothing to speak of. Really valuable pieces cost a lot of money. I am satisfied to collect for the museum.
Yeah. I find this ashtray particularly beautiful.
Merci, Monsieur Kanoy. You could not have paid me a finer compliment.
Oh?
Oui. You see, I made it myself.
Really?
Pottery has been one of my hobbies for a great many years. It is a most relaxing pastime. The museum is my first love, pottery my second.
Yeah, what do you know? You don't mind your museum being filled with television cameras and technicians?
No, why should I? It gives many millions of people a chance to see treasures they would not normally be able to see.
You won't actually be appearing on the program yourself tomorrow night.
No, monsieur. But I will be there to see that everything runs smoothly. It will be my job to see that all the pieces they wish to show are prepared. I have a list somewhere here. Ah, yes, here it is. I have not had time yet to look at it. It arrived in the mail just a few moments before you got here.
Well, Monsieur Dutable, I guess I better be running along. I'll be looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night for the television show. Good night.
Good night.
Just a routine interview, that's all. I arrived back at my apartment, poured myself a drink, read a book for a while, and at 11:30 I was just about to turn in when the phone rang. Hello. Yeah, Chief Kanoy here. Yeah, I'm doing a story on the Montarde Museum. Why? Burgled? When? Yeah, I'll get down there right away. Thanks, Chief. The editor told me that someone had broken into the museum, slugged one of the 2 night watchmen, and got away with some valuable pieces. I wasted no time in getting there. As I arrived on the scene, an ambulance was pulling away. The museum was full of gendarmes, and the officer in charge was an old pal of mine, Jacques Magan.
I might have known you'd be here, Kanoy.
Yeah, what is it, Jack? Breaking, entering, and assault?
It may also be murder.
Oh?
Yeah, the night watchman, Bonique, has severe head injuries.
Oh, that's too bad.
I doubt whether he'll live. He was battered with quite a large piece of marble.
What did they get away with, do you know?
I don't know. But 2 of the glass cases are smashed, and the other night watchman, Sally, says some collection is missing.
Officer, I am Gaston Dutable.
Ah, good. You are the director, huh?
Oui, oui. The gendarme called and said there had been a robbery.
Oui, that is correct.
Monsieur Kanoy.
Yeah, small world, isn't it?
You two know each other?
I was over at Monsieur Dutable's home just a few hours ago, getting a story on the television broadcast tomorrow night.
Monsieur, you must excuse my appearance. I just put a coat on over my pajamas. I wanted to get here straight away. The gendarme said that one of the night watchmen had been injured.
Oui, Bonique.
Badly?
I'm afraid so.
What a terrible thing to happen. Oh, dear. Did the thieves take anything?
It looks like it.
Excuse me, please. I must see.
But why should anyone wish to break into a museum?
Why? Well, some of these pieces are worth a fortune.
Well, who could one sell them to? No other museum in the world could be approached. They would know immediately from whence the pieces came.
Yeah, I guess there are plenty of unscrupulous private collectors who'd ask no questions.
Tragedy. Tragedy.
What's the matter, monsieur?
You must catch the thieves, Captain. You must. They have taken the Haller collection. The most valuable pieces in the museum have been stolen.
Dutab couldn't have been more upset if his son and heir had been kidnapped. He wrung his hands and almost burst into tears. However, McGarn and I managed to calm him down a little with the promise that the gendarmerie were doing their best to find the thieves and restore the missing pieces.
This elder collection, monsieur, what is it exactly?
A priceless find, which was made half a century ago.
Wait, but what do these pieces look like?
They are exquisite examples of early Chinese craftsmanship. 3,500 years old.
But can you describe them?
Oui. There are 2 vases, 3 plates, and 7 tiny figures.
Pottery?
Oui. The pieces are priceless, Captain, priceless. Each one is worth 100 million francs. Unless they are recovered, the world will have lost one of its great treasures.
Oui, monsieur. Thank you. Go ask Monsieur Salis to come in.
It is the fault of the newspapers.
Newspapers? Well, how?
All this talk lately about the museum, about the treasures, how much they are worth. People read these articles, unscrupulous people, and it makes them think.
Well, now, surely that's a little unfair, Monsieur Dutab.
You wish to see me, Captain?
Oui, Monsieur Salis. Sit down, please.
Merci.
Now, will you tell me once again what happened tonight?
Mais certainement. Bonique and I are night watchmen here. It is also our job to clean certain sections of the museum.
Oui, go on.
Tonight, I was in the Egyptology section, and Bonique was cleaning the cases in the Chinese and Indian wing.
Oui.
I heard a voice. I thought Bonique was singing or talking to himself. He did that sometimes. You know how it is with these old men.
Oui.
Then I heard him shout, and he screamed. There was a crash. I thought for a moment he must have knocked the case on top of him, and I ran to see what had happened.
How long did it take you to get there?
Oh, 30 seconds, perhaps a minute. I was right at the other end of the museum.
And when you got there?
Bonique was lying on the floor. Beside him was the piece of marble. The glass in the cases was smashed, and the collection was gone. There was blood everywhere.
And then you called the gendarmerie?
Oui, immediately. And that's all there is to tell, Captain. Will he live?
That I cannot say. I hope so.
It is a dreadful thing. Old Bonique, he was very gentle. He would not have harmed anyone.
Thank you for your help, monsieur. You might as well go home for the night if Monsieur Dutable has no objection.
Oh, no, none at all.
How did the thief enter the museum? Have you been able to discover that?
Well, there is a broken window in the east wing. It appears he entered through that. Oui? Oui, McGann speaking. Yes. Oh, good. I'll be around there right away. Bonique appears to be recovering consciousness.
You going to the hospital?
Oui.
Mind if I come?
I have no objections.
And I, too, would like to accompany you, Captain.
All right. I don't see why not. Come along.
Old Bonique was lying in his hospital bed, his head in bandages. The doctor told us we could see him for a few moments only. The old man looked as close to death as any person can get and still breathe.
Monsieur Bonique, can you hear me? I am from the gendarmerie. I want you to help me.
Gendarmerie?
Oui. Somebody attacked you tonight. Do you remember what he looked like?
We have a collection. Poor fellow.
Who attacked you? Was it one man or two?
Gendarmerie.
We are from the gendarmerie. Now, who did it? Who attacked you?
He wanted to steal a collection.
Oui. What did he look like?
The collection.
Oh, it's no use. He's delirious.
You must find the person who did this, Captain.
We will.
It's possible he'll talk later. The doctor says he's got a fair chance of pulling through.
I'll leave a constable here, just in case he regains consciousness. Come on. There's no point in our staying any longer.
McGarn went back to the station. Dutab went back to bed, and I knocked out my story. It was 3:30 when I'd finished. I got a few hours shut-eye, and then at 6:30 I rang McGarn to see if there'd been any further developments.
Oui, Connor. I have some news for you. Old Bonique is dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Not as sorry as I am. Bonique did not die from his head injuries.
What?
At 4 o'clock this morning in his hospital bed, Bonique was stabbed to death.
9:45 a.m., I was at the museum in Dutab's private office. McGarn was there, too. The gendarmerie officers strode angrily about the room.
Oh, that this thing should happen right before our noses.
Oh, didn't you say you were going to put a guard on the old man?
And so I did. A young constable who will be dismissed for his incompetency.
Well, what happened? Did he go to sleep on the job?
He said he went out to wash his hands or something. When he returned, the old man who had been tossing and turning was still. The constable looked more closely. In Bonnick's chest, there was a knife.
You've had the knife checked for prints, I suppose.
Of course. Not a print to be seen anywhere. Oh, it is a cheap carving knife, hundreds of which are sold weekly by a dozen stores in Paris. There is no way we can trace its origin.
What puzzles me is, how did the killer know where the old man was?
Well, it would be very simple. All the newspapers have told which hospital Bonnick was in. Well, the killer just had to climb through a window and wander silently through the various wards until he found him. Where is that Salis?
He should be here any moment now.
What has happened about the television broadcast? Is he still on?
No, Captain. Under the circumstances, it was decided to broadcast it from the Louvre instead.
Oui?
Mr. Salis is here, sir. The night watchman.
Send him in.
Will you go in, please?
Capitan, they say you wish to speak with me again.
That is correct.
The gendarme said the Bonnick died was murdered.
That is correct. Monsieur Salis, I want to ask you one or two more questions.
Oui.
Monsieur Dutab tells me you were not on the best of terms with Bonnick.
Well,
is that true?
We had our differences of opinion.
You also had several severe quarrels.
That is a lie.
Did you not ask Monsieur Dutab a few weeks ago if it would not be possible to replace Bonnick?
Well, oui. With a younger man. Bonnick was old. He was childish.
And you disliked him, even hated him?
I did not like Bonnick, but hate him, no.
Ah.
And the quarrels we had were not severe ones, mon capitaine. They were just tiffs, as you might say, over petty things.
But Bonnick annoyed you considerably, huh?
Oui, at times.
Monsieur Salis, let us suppose that last night you had a disagreement with Bonnick.
That is not true.
Let me finish. I was just supposing. And say you became enraged, and picking up a piece of marble, you hit him over the head with it again and again.
No.
And then when you saw what you had done, you became frightened. You broke a window, stole some valuable pieces, and made it look like a robbery.
That is ridiculous. I had nothing whatever to do with it. I would not kill anyone.
Oh. Where did you go after you left here last night, huh? After I had finished questioning you?
I went home, to my home.
Mm-hmm. Are you married?
My wife is dead.
Did anybody see you go home? Have you any proof that you did not go to the St. Clair Hospital?
I went straight to bed, but I don't think anybody saw me. I cannot prove it. Captain, what you're thinking is not true. I didn't kill Bonnick.
I'm afraid we will have to hold you for further questioning, Monsieur Salis.
But, Captain...
You, Gendarme Dupont?
Sir.
Have Monsieur Salis taken to headquarters. Have his room searched thoroughly for the missing articles.
Oui, Captain. Come along, monsieur.
I did not do it. I did not do it.
You really think it was him, Captain?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, it is possible. However, rest assured that we will get the truth out of him. I am going to my office for a while.
You mind giving me a lift?
Certainly. Come on.
We walked out of the museum together. At the edge of the sidewalk, something caught my eye. It was a piece of broken pottery lying in the gutter. Jack, what do you think of this?
It looks like a piece of pottery, huh?
Yeah, a part of a vase, I'd say. Look, there are a few other fragments here, too. Looks like the thief dropped the vase, broke it, and left some of the pieces behind in his haste to get away.
Oui. Come on. We will show these pieces to Dutable.
Oui, monsieur. There can be no doubt about it. This is one of the stolen vases. And my last hopes are shattered like this vase.
Oh? What do you mean?
Look at it. Broken, lost. Lost to the world. Lost to humanity forever.
Well, perhaps we'll find the other fragments before we're finished.
I wonder if my men have searched Alice's room yet. I think perhaps we might find the rest of the pieces there.
McGarn took the broken pieces back to the police laboratory to test them for fingerprints. At least he took all the pieces except one. I kept that one. An interesting thought had crept into my head. I went to see a pal of mine, Monsieur Bailly, one of the experts employed by the Louvre. I showed him the piece of pottery, and he examined it silently for a few minutes, and then...
Very clever. Very clever indeed. In fact, one of the best fakes I've ever seen.
A fake? You mean this didn't come from the Haller collection?
No, definitely not, no. Although much care has been taken in its making, there can be no doubt about it.
I see.
The vase from which this fragment came was made within the last century, possibly within the last few weeks or months.
Uh-huh. Now, look, tell me one more thing.
Oui?
Would any expert be able to tell that this is a fake?
But of course. Otherwise, he would not be an expert.
Well, thanks very much, Monsieur Bailly. That's just about all I wanted to know. I caught a cab to the museum. Dutable was not there. He'd gone home to rest. So I went out to his home, stopping only to make a phone call to Captain McGarn on the way. Dutable opened the door in a scarlet dressing gown over blue pajamas. He looked ready to go to bed.
Well, Monsieur Canoy.
Hi.
We seem to be seeing a lot of each other these last couple of days, huh?
Yes, I wanted to ask your advice on something.
Oh, may we? Do come in.
Thanks. See, I've got a theory on this robbery. I thought I'd get your opinion of it.
Go ahead, Monsieur Canoy.
Right. Now, say, for example, that an employee of the museum was crooked.
Oui.
And say he met somebody who was willing to buy valuable relics from him to sell to private collectors who'd ask no questions.
Oui.
Now, how would he go about doing this exactly?
But he couldn't. The pieces would be missed immediately.
Right. So this person would have to replace them with clever fakes, which he perhaps made himself.
Ah. An interesting theory.
And then a certain television show was to be broadcast from the museum in which experts would examine relics and try to guess their origin. Now, what would this guy do?
Well, I should imagine he would be panic-stricken.
Right, because these experts would know right away what had been going on. They'd recognize the pieces for fakes, and the cat would be out of the bag, no?
Alors?
So the guy went to the museum, broke a window, and let himself in, even though he had a key. He wanted to make it look like an outside job. He was going to remove the Haller collection from their cases, take them away, and remove all evidence of the swap-over.
Please continue, Monsieur Canoy.
But just as he was about to leave the building, an old night watchman called Bonique saw him and recognized him. Well, there was only one thing for it. The crook picks up a piece of marble, smashes it over Bonique's head. He thought he'd killed the old man, and well, when he discovered that there was a chance of his pulling through, he went to the hospital and finished the job.
Alors, is that all you have to say, Monsieur Canoy?
Almost. It was very clever of you, Dutable.
I am a clever man.
Your hobby's been pottery for years, hasn't it? You told me so yourself. But the one mistake you made was in not recognizing that fragment as a fake.
We all make mistakes at times, Monsieur Canoy. But mistakes can be erased. Put up your hands.
Oh, no. Wait a minute.
You are the only person who has worked this out, no?
Just a minute now. You can't get
Stay
away
where
with...
you are. I will tell the police that I heard a noise in my house. I thought it was a burglar. I fired. How was I to know that it was just a reporter snooping for a story?
Look, Dutable, listen to me.
Adieu, Monsieur Canoy.
Open up!
Gendarme.
That's right. I rang him just in case.
You get me.
Conway, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. There's your killer, Jacques. He's all yours. The Haller collection is back in the museum again now. With Dutab's cooperation, they were able to trace all the missing pieces. And Dutab, he was sentenced to life imprisonment on Devil's Island. The last I heard of him, to while the time away, he was making pottery ashtrays.
You have been listening to Lionel Merton as Mike Connoy in another exciting episode in the series Europe Confidential.
This is Basil Rathbone again, and so our journey into the realms of mystery is over. Soon, however, I'll be back with more of these tales of mystery which I know we all enjoy so much. Well, goodbye now till we meet again to listen to another of the world's greatest mysteries.
Presenting the world's greatest mysteries. And now, your host.
This is Basil Rathbone. Any reporter who can win a roving commission to discover the mysteries behind the secrets of one or several countries has certainly won his position because he has that special something that recognizes a story even before it is a story. In the likeliest and unlikeliest places of Europe, Mike has discovered intrigue and mystery and has searched behind the veil for the stories that will make the news. Not without danger, these stories have been transmitted to his European headquarters in Paris, and from there they have found their way into newsprint to excite the world. But in a moment, let Mike tell you himself of one such adventure.
Presenting Europe Confidential.
You better tell me where I can find this girl in Tangier.
Blimey, you're going there?
It's on the cards.
Well, if you see the old so-and-so, tell him Herb is still kicking along. Ask him what's wrong with his writing arm.
Sure, I'll do that. What about the girl?
Oh, she used to work at a cabaret called the Devil's Tooth. You'll find it all right. Everybody knows it in Tangier.
In a moment, we'll bring you Lionel Merton as Mike Kanoy, the Paris correspondent of a famous American newspaper, in another exciting story in our series, Europe Confidential.
This is Mike Kanoy. It started quite by accident. A small advertisement published in my Paris paper at the request of a London law firm. The advertisement read, "Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Raymond Shortley, an Englishman, age 35, believed living abroad, is asked to communicate with Page and Parker, solicitors, Farringdon Lane, EC3, London." Well, my editor was intrigued by the ad, and the following night I was on a plane to London. The offices of Page and Parker were in an old part of the city, within a short distance of the Thames and the Tower of London. I arrived for my appointment and was shown into the office of the senior partner, Mr. Joshua Page.
Sit down, Mr. Conroy. I had a communication from your editor, and I understand you're here about the matter of the Shortley estate.
Yes, sir. My chief thinks there might be a human interest story in this, and he's asked me to get what details I can.
Well, I've no objection to supplying them. If your paper's interested, it might find our young man so much quicker for us. Not that this kind of thing would have been in favor when I first started in practice, but one must move with the times.
Yeah. Can you tell me about Raymond Shortley and why you're looking for him?
Well, of course. Make yourself comfortable. Smoke if you wish.
Thank you very much.
Now, Raymond Shortley. Well, to the best of my knowledge, he's been missing about 17 years. Back in 1939, he lived in London with his parents. Average sort of people. Father was a bank clerk. Doesn't seem to have been a particularly ambitious sort of father. Hadn't much ambition for a son, either. Yes, when the boy left school, his father arranged for him to work in the same bank. And this young Raymond did, well, for a few months. He hated it, according to all reports. Wanted to join up, but he was underage.
I see.
Yes, his father, James Shortley to be exact, refused to give his permission. So the son left home and enlisted under another name.
Well, not the only guy to do that.
No.
Do you know the name he enlisted under?
Oh, I'm afraid not.
I guess he joined the army, huh?
We're not even certain of that.
Oh.
No, I imagine he bought a false identity card somehow. I believe people can get hold of these things. At any rate, the boy cleared out. And 6 months later, both his parents were unfortunately killed in a bomb blast. There was no will ever found, and the missing son became the natural heir.
Well, how much money does the bank clerk leave?
Well, James Shortley left only a few £100. But you see, he had a brother in Canada who died 4 months ago, leaving his entire estate to James. Of course, not knowing that his brother was dead.
I see.
Well, by law, that money is inherited by Raymond Shortley.
How much is involved?
Oh, after taxes and death duties have been deducted, plus all charges, the net residue is about £40,000.
Very nice.
Yes, except that we have no idea where our man is living or under what name.
Well, my chief has a habit of handing me the tough ones. Still, if we can find him, it'll make quite a story.
You're going to try, Mr. Conroy?
Starting right now. I guess for a beginning, you'd better give me his former address, huh?
Yes, I have that here. 29 Norchester Terrace, Chiswick. Yes, of course, but that home was destroyed when their parents were killed, Conroy.
Well, there must be neighbors who remember them. I've got to start somewhere. Thanks a lot, Mr. Page. I'll keep in touch. I left the lawyer's office and took a tube train to Chiswick. In Norchester Terrace, the houses were new, and right from the start, it looked discouraging.
Yes?
Good morning, ma'am. I want to make some inquiries about a family who lived here back in 1940.
1940? Mr. Riley moved here a year ago. Sorry.
It was like that, with variations all the way down the street. Even at number 29, now rebuilt as a shop, nobody could remember the name of Shortley.
There's your change, Mrs. Reese.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Enty. Looks like a nice day by way of a change.
Now then, mister, you were asking me about somebody named... who was it again?
Shortley. People who lived here in 1940. They had a house on this very site.
No, afraid I can't help. We bought the place in 46, and it was a shop then. I think it was built about, a year before. I've never heard mention of anybody named Shortley.
Well, maybe you can put me on to someone who's lived here since before the war.
Since before the war, eh? Well, most of the folk here moved in when they rebuilt the street. It was pretty badly damaged by bombs.
Uh-huh.
None of them could help. Oh, wait a minute. I know.
Yeah?
The old lady who just left, Mrs. Reese. The one who came in when you first started talking to me.
She's lived here since before the war?
Oh, lived here for years. You might be able to catch her up if you hurry. But otherwise, well, she should be in again tomorrow.
I'll catch her. Thanks a lot. Mrs. Reese! Mrs. Reese!
You calling me, young man?
Yeah, lucky I caught you. Look, ma'am, back there in the shop, they told me that you've lived around here most of your life.
Most of my life. All my life.
Well, I'm trying to find out about some people who lived here in 1940, name of Shortley.
Oh, James and Mary Short.
Yeah, that's the ones. Did you know them?
Oh, know 'em. My soul, I used to live next door, here in Dorchester Terrace. I've moved now over to Garth's.
You live next door, huh? Look, ma'am, can I talk to you about this? It's pretty important.
Oh. Well, young man, if you want to talk to me, you'd better come home and talk over a cup of tea. American, aren't you?
That's right.
I suppose you want coffee. I'll never keep it in the house.
Mrs. Reese, tea will just be fine. Now, if you don't mind, how about letting me carry some of these parcels, huh?
Well, Mr. Canoy, so young Ray Shortley's come into money, has he? And now you're looking for him.
That's right.
James often used to speak of his well-to-do brother in Canada. Just a touch of envy it was. But James himself was not one to make money.
Well, it would have been his if he'd lived.
Yes, but he had no luck, did James.
Oh.
They were killed the night of the big August raid, when most of the terrace was destroyed. When Ray came back in his fine navy uniform to make his peace with him, it was me who had to tell him what happened.
Naval uniform, huh?
He was always crazy about the sea, that boy.
He actually came back after his parents had been killed, and he was in the Navy.
Would I be mistaken about that, with my own man a sailor in his time?
I guess not.
But I've not seen him since that day. If it's help you want, then Maggie Sims might be the one to ask.
Maggie Sims?
She's Maggie Crane now, married and with a family. But I'll warrant she's not forgotten the colour of young Raymond's eyes.
Oh, I get it.
You make sure you're seeing her when her husband's not at home, Mr. Canoy. He might not want to be hearing about Ray shortly.
I got the address and went to see Maggie Crane, who lived in a small cottage less than half a mile away. She was a woman in her late 20s, still showing a trace of what once must have been good looks, but now pretty dimmed by years of hardship and disappointment.
Ray? Yes, of course I remember Ray. But you're not from the police, are you?
I'm a newspaper man, ma'am. I'm trying to locate him because, well, a relation of his wants him found.
Oh. Oh, I thought he might have done something wrong. I wouldn't like to see him in trouble, even after all that happened.
Well, you knew him pretty well?
I should say I did. I was married to him.
What?
You don't believe me? Look it up in the records.
When was this?
When he came back on leave, that time his parents was killed. He came to see me, and he was all upset. Some of my friends said that was the only reason I caught him, but it wasn't true. He was really in love with me.
You remember the date of your marriage?
Well, I guess he wouldn't, but I do. August 27th, 1940.
Oh, you were both minors, huh?
Oh, my parents didn't object, and his were dead.
Yeah, well, I guess that's right. What was the name you married under?
The name Ray took when he left home. Conway. Mr. and Mrs. Raymond Conway. He said it was going to be forever.
What happened?
Well, we moved away from this district. Well, that's why a lot of people never knew about us being married.
Oh.
I took a small place up in Scotland where he was stationed. Sometimes they were away for months at sea, but he always came back. Till that other woman got her hands on him, we were very happy.
What other woman is this?
I don't know who she was or where she lived. He told me about her, just like that one day. He said he was going to leave me. I fought and... Oh, well, it's not interesting to you. In the end, he did leave. I will say he gave me all the money he could to keep me and Paul going. And he sent some later when I moved back here.
I see.
Then after a while, I got a divorce and married Jim Crane. Maybe life isn't so exciting with Jim, but at least he earns steady money, and at least I know he'll come home every night on time.
You haven't seen your first husband since that time, huh?
Oh, never once.
You mentioned somebody named Paul. Who's he?
But Paul's my son. Raising mine.
It was slow, but it was progress. A son by any name was a rightful heir, and if Ray Shortley was found to be dead, the boy stood to inherit a small fortune. I communicated that fact to the lawyers, then went straight to the logical place to carry the search further. At the Naval Records Office, I explained my mission, and with official help was able to trace my quarry's progress under the name of Conway through several ships and over 5 years of war. Finally, I obtained the address that he'd given on being discharged in 1946.
There you are, Mr. Conway, number 4 Warren Place, Bayswater. But that was 11 years ago. I wouldn't count on still finding him there.
Bayswater is a London suburb of rooming houses and small hotels set across the park from Kensington and Knightsbridge. A one-time area of great wealth, now being broken up. Number 4 Warren Place was a private hotel. It was early evening when I pressed the door buzzer.
Hello? Looking for someone?
Yeah, I was wondering if I'd still find Ray Conway here.
Conway? Blimey, mate, you just lived it.
Yeah,
for about 8 flaming years.
Oh.
I haven't seen Conway since 49. Who are you, a friend of his?
Yeah, well, look, it's quite a story. Maybe if I told you some of the details, then you could help me, eh?
Well, you can never tell. American, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose I can overlook that. Come on in, I've got a bottle. We can crack it and I'll listen to this story of yours. Well, I'll be killed. You mean to say these lawyers want you to find out Con and that his name ain't Conway at all? Maybe that's quite a story.
You and he were shipmates, weren't you?
Certainly were. 5 rotten years of it.
Yeah, look, after he got out of the Navy, he stayed here with you for about a year, did he?
About that.
Working?
Oh, here and there. I ran the private hotel and sometimes he helped me. Because he couldn't settle down, you know. He always had this hankering to go back to Tangier.
Tangier? In Morocco?
That's the place. What a place.
Go back, you said. Had he been there before?
Well, we were on a convoy run there near the end of the war.
Mm.
Con and me used to get ashore quite a bit, one way and another. He got to know a few people there. One of them was this girl.
Girl?
Oh, smash. French she was, name of Annette Delaret.
Ah. You think Shortley or Conway, as you knew him, went back to see her?
Well, I think he might have gone back to a lot of things. He wrote to someone he knew over in Tangier, and all of a sudden he got very secretive about things. Just said he was going, and left.
Pretty abrupt, wasn't it, after being friends for so long?
Oh, he was like that. I don't know what he's mixed up in now. I wouldn't have told you this much. Only there's some money coming to him, he might as well have it.
Well, once we find him, the money will be his. You better tell me where I can find this girl in Tangier.
No, you got that there?
It's on the cards.
Well, if you see the old so-and-so, tell him Herb is still kicking along. Ask him what's wrong with his riding arm.
Sure, I'll do that. Now, what about this girl?
Well, she used to work at a cabaret place called the Devil's Tooth. You'll find it all right. Everybody knows it in Tangier.
It took me a day to get a reservation. 48 hours later, I was in Tangier. I booked into a hotel, waited for nightfall, and found a cabaret called the Devil's Tooth, a place in the Arab Quarter, patronized by people of all nationalities.
Monsieur wishes for a table?
Yeah, get me a table up front for 2, will you? And ask Mademoiselle Delaret if she'll join me for a drink.
Monsieur, mademoiselle is the star of our floor show. It is not customary for her to drink with the patrons.
Look, show the lady this card, will you? Tell her it's about a guy called Conway.
Conway?
Yeah.
Very well, monsieur. Please, if you will come with me, I shall find you a table and take your card to mademoiselle.
Monsieur Conway?
Mademoiselle Delavay?
Everybody calls me Annette. What are you drinking?
Well, it says on the bottle, scotch.
Philippe? Take it away and bring us something decent to drink. You like Cointreau, monsieur?
Oh, sure.
Cointreau, Philippe. This scotch is all second-rate, Monsieur Conway, like most of the petrol.
No. What about Ray Conway?
What about him? You tell me.
Well, you read what I'd written on the back of the card.
That you wanted to find him. Yes, I read it. Because he has inherited some money. I wish I could help you, monsieur.
Does that mean you won't?
It means I can't. Con has not been here in Tangier for a long time.
He came back here after the war.
For a few brief months. But he did not like it here in the sun. He did not like life when it was simple and easy and uncomplicated.
Where did he check out to?
He never told me.
You know, I find that hard to believe.
You will love this Cointreau, monsieur. I only wish I could stay to share it with you. Unhappily, I am on stage in a moment.
Never mind the Cointreau, lady, or the stage for just a moment. I figure you're tampering with the truth a little. If I was a guy like Conway, I sure wouldn't walk out and leave a girl like you.
Ah, you Americans are great flatterers, Monsieur Conway. But I'm sorry. I have no more time.
Listen, I'm staying at the Cosmopolitan. I'll be there for a couple more days. If you decide to change your mind...
Au revoir,
Annette!
Your Cointreau, monsieur. I trust you find it and everything else to your satisfaction.
I stayed on for a while at the Devil's Tooth, hoping to get another chance to talk with Annette Delavay, but time passed and she didn't appear. Finally, I left the nightclub, walked out into the Arab quarter of Tangier, down to the harbor, trying to figure the angles in this strange search which an editor's hunch had made into my particular problem. After an hour or so, I returned to the hotel, picked up my key at the desk, and went upstairs. I opened the door. Too late, I realized the light was on. And too late, I saw the waiter from the Devil's Tooth sitting in the chair beside the bed, with a Luger in his hand.
Come in, Conway. Shut the door. I wish you to meet a friend of mine.
There were two men in the room, the waiter from the Devil's Tooth and another man, large around the girth, with dark eyes and no hair. Okay, let's have it. What are you doing here, Buster, and who's your fat friend?
Easy does it, Conway. This is Mr. Camilos. He wants to talk to you.
Carmelos? Greek?
The name is Greek, Mr. Conway. But my citizenship extends to many different countries.
Just who are you?
Among other things, I own the Devil's Tooth.
Yeah? Well, it still doesn't add up to anything.
I am also a friend of Conway.
Well, then if you're a friend, maybe you can be smarter than the doll who sings for you. I want to find this guy.
I must say, for a policeman, you have a nerve, Mr. Conway. Do you not know that if I so much as raised my arm, Philippe would kill you?
Well, two things I'll bank on, Carmelos. First, you won't raise your arm. And second, I'm no policeman. I'm a reporter. I'm trying to find Conway because he's come into some money. I told that to Annette.
He didn't believe you. And nor does Conway.
Well, I guess the news that he's around isn't really much of a surprise. Buster here certainly reacted when I mentioned the name first in your night spot tonight.
We want to know why you are here and what organization you are really working for.
Look, I don't think you'd recognize the truth when it's served up to you. Give me a few hours and I can get credentials from lawyers in London or from Paris. Better still, ask Conway if he remembers his uncle in Canada.
Well,
Go on, call the guy. The phone's at your disposal.
Very well. We'll see. Watch him, Philippe.
With me, I don't argue with Lugers. In silence, the Greek Carmelos picked up the phone and dialed a number. While we watched, he spoke briefly to a voice at the other end of the line, and finally put the phone down, apparently satisfied.
All right, Mr. Conway. You're to come with us. We will take you to meet Conway. Go in, Mr. Conroy.
Hello, Conroy. So, you're the man who's been asking all the questions here.
You're Ray Shortley?
Yeah, I was. The name's Conway now. Sit down, have a drink.
Drink?
Yeah, go ahead. It won't be drugged. You can relax, Conroy. I've been doing some fast checking up on you. A column called Europe Confidential, isn't it?
That's right.
How much did Uncle Bernard leave me?
It works out to be about 40,000 pounds.
That double he did. Well, life's quite a joke, isn't it? My old man could have been on top of the world with money like that. So could I once.
And now?
Now we bring in double that every month. Ah, it's chicken feed.
Well, nice to be able to think so. What's the profitable sideline?
Well, I won't have to tell you, because there's not much you or anyone else can do about it. At least until they catch us. You can even run the story. That won't hurt us. Half Interpol and most of the police forces of Europe have been trying for quite a while. You see, over here from the window, that fleet of ships down there.
Yeah.
They're mine, Conroy, mine and Annette's. Carmelos here works for us, and so do a lot of other people.
Contraband?
The biggest. And the best contraband fleet on the Mediterranean. And we run it.
Mm-hmm.
If you care to look through the field glasses, you'll see down there now the police going over the ships. They can't do a thing, and they know it. But they have to keep up appearances. They can't touch us until they find contraband, and they've never found it yet. But when people like you start asking questions around, we like to find out why.
Well, now you know. I guess I found you and got a better story than I anticipated, but it still doesn't solve the problem of that inheritance money.
The inheritance money, would it mean going back to England to fix up the details?
I guess it would.
No soap. Scotland Yard is too long a dossier on me to make a trip like that comfortable.
Yeah.
You can send me whatever papers I have to sign, tell the lawyers. Give the money to Maggie and the kid with my love. I think that's the best thing that could happen to it.
Yep, in Tangier, I finally came to the end of the trail. And Ray Conway, who defies the police of a dozen nations, duly made over his share of the inheritance to his former wife and his son. I carried the document back to London. Yeah, it was quite a hunch the chief had the day he saw that advertisement in the paper.
Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Raymond Shortley, an Englishman aged 35, believed living abroad, is asked to communicate with Page and Parker, solicitors, Farringdon Lane, London, East Centre 3.
You have been listening to Lionel Merton as Mike Connoy in another exciting episode in the series Europe Confidential.
This is Basil Rathbone again, and that's Mike's story for today. Mysterious, yes, and exciting. But then, that's our aim. These stories are exciting. That's why they're worth telling. We hope you will join us next time. Now, goodbye till we meet again for another of the world's greatest mysteries.
Presenting the world's greatest mysteries. And now, your host.
This is Basil Rathbone. In drama and fiction, newspaper men are invariably tough, hard-boiled characters. In real life, this is, well, it's not necessarily true, although several newspaper men I've known were as colorful as anything fiction has ever had to offer. Mike, you'll meet in a moment, is based on a real person who actually works for the European edition of a famous American newspaper. Not only is the character real, but, well, many of the stories which Mike tells are also based on fact. The tale you're going to hear today, for instance, you may even recognize from the headlines in your newspaper of, well, not so long ago. In a moment, Mike will introduce you to another mystery solved and signed with his own unmistakable trademark. Europe Confidential.
Presenting Europe Confidential.
Open up in there! Open up!
That is my lieutenant. You'd better give me that gun. Don't give it to him, Brett.
Open up!
You're going to open that door, Dimitri. You're going to tell him that everything's all right.
I will not be a traitor to my people.
You can either be a dead patriot or a live traitor. Take your choice. You've got 5 seconds.
In a moment, we'll bring you Lionel Merton as Mike Kanoy, the Paris correspondent of a famous American newspaper, in another exciting story in our series, Europe Confidential.
This is Mike Kanoy. I work for an American paper in Paris, but I was away off my beat that time 2 years ago when I ran into trouble down in southern Europe. I was in one of the small Balkan states where trouble flares up occasionally. The name of the country doesn't really matter now, but it was small, it was corrupt, and it was explosive. In Paris, we had word that the reigning party was likely to be overthrown any day. So I was in the capital to cover the story and maybe get something special for my column, Europe Confidential. That's how I came to meet up with Steve Holliday again, outside my hotel one day in the central square of the city.
Mike? Mike Kanoy.
Well, I'll be Steve Holliday.
In the flesh, boy. Say, the last time I saw you was in New York, just after the war. What are you doing here, of all places?
Well, I came down to cover the story.
So you've heard about the situation, eh?
Yeah, we've heard rumors. You think it's true?
You're darn right, it's true. Not that I'm officially in the know. I just work for an oil company, but the balloon's going to bust any time.
Mm-hmm. You going to stick around?
Not if I can help it. That's why I'm in town. Say, listen, Mike, for old time's sake, maybe you could help me.
Huh?
Yeah, this could be a real stroke of luck. Will you help?
Well, sure, Steve. I'll help if I can. What is it?
Well, it's almost impossible to get plane tickets out of here, and I need 2 of them. Maybe with your influence, I could get them.
Well, it shouldn't be too difficult. I've got a contact in the office of East European Airlines.
Ah, that's my boy.
The office in Paris arranged it, just in case there was a rush on tickets. I'm already booked on the midnight plane out. I tipped the guy for his trouble. Maybe on the strength of that tip, I could write him a note.
Now you're talking. Great, Mike. That's really great.
2 seats, you said, huh? You married, Steve?
No, this is just a friend. Say, it really was a stroke of luck meeting you like this.
I hadn't known Steve Holliday well, but I was glad to help out. I wrote him a short note of introduction, and he went on his way. I went on mine. In the normal course of events, I probably wouldn't have heard from him again, or even known what had happened. But I heard this story later, and the parts I didn't hear I pieced together so that I had a pretty fair picture of what happened. It was around noon when I left Steve Holliday. By the time he got back to the Monahan house, it must have been after 2 p.m.
Steve.
Hello, honey. Where's Brett?
He's gone. Gone to Bretner on business. Oh, Steve. Steve, I love you.
Sure, I know, baby.
Did you get the tickets?
I had a stroke of luck. Ran into a journalist. Guy I knew from back home. Name of Mike Canoy. On a note from him to the ticket office, I got 2 seats.
Oh, never mind how you got them, just as long as they're real. Just as long as we're getting out of this place. I can't believe it. Brett won't be home till tomorrow, and by then we'll be gone.
Midnight plane. And just in time, I figure.
Then there's really going to be trouble?
It's brewing, honey.
Strange that Brett never said anything to me about it. He's so close to General Strucker.
Maybe that's why he's heard nothing, because he's so close. When people plan to overthrow a government, the last who get told are the dictators and his friends. And Brett Monahan was known far and wide as one of General's trusted pals.
Thank heavens we're getting out of this place.
Maybe in a few weeks' time you'll realize just how lucky you were. I think before long, Brett's wife is going to be the least of Brett's worries.
Yeah, what's going on? Why has this road control been set up?
You have your passport, sir?
What on earth for?
We only obey orders. Your passport, please.
Oh, it's here somewhere. Yes, there. I'm in quite a hurry, if you don't mind.
I am sorry, my friend.
Now, listen here.
Your passport is quite worthless. I'm afraid you will have to go back the way you came.
What other nonsense? That passport was signed by General Strucker himself.
The ex-general, you mean?
Just what is this?
It is an overthrow of tyranny.
A revolt? You must be mad.
Turn your car around, my friend.
I have important business in Bravener, revolution or no revolution.
The guns are loaded.
You'll regret this.
It is not us, my friend, who will do the regretting.
The coup d'etat came suddenly and almost without violence. By 4 p.m., the city and the administration centers were in the hands of the rebels. General Strucker, the dictator, was under arrest. As for his friends, like Brett Monahan, well, in a revolution, I'm afraid few are spared, and they never include friends of the overthrown regime. Brett Monahan reached his house around 4:30 p.m. to find an officer of the Army waiting for him.
Put up your hands.
Who the devil are you?
Put them up. You are under arrest.
What for?
Turn around.
Save your trouble. I've no gun. What's all this about?
Your name is Monahan, is it not? Brett Monahan.
Yes.
You are under arrest for conspiring against the people of our republic.
Conspiring against... What utter nonsense.
It is in our records that you are a personal friend of Strucker, the tyrant.
But I'm a British subject.
Our records also show that you applied for and received the nationalization of our republic.
I had to for business reasons.
Your wife is inside?
Yes.
Excellent. I was about to go in and arrest you both when I saw your car approaching.
I demand that you release me. My wife and I will get the first available plane out of the country.
I am afraid that the only trip you will be making will be to the prison, my friend.
Now listen to me.
Come, we will collect your wife.
Put that gun down, or
Or you will what?
Now I'll take the gun, my revolutionary friend. Get up. On your feet. Well, you have code.
Brett!
Quickly. Help me in with him.
But I...
Come on. Come on, there's no time to lose.
Oh.
There.
In grave robbing, Brett?
Steve.
The one and only.
What are you doing here? Helen.
Brett, I tried to tell you.
And you've packed your bags.
Brett...
Let's not try to pretend, honey. Yeah, Brett, you guessed it. We're leaving this place on the next plane.
I see.
That's the way it is, so let's not have any dramatics.
Not from me.
Good. Much better if we all act like grown-ups.
You could have told me, Helen.
Well, I tried. Well, then I thought it would be better this way.
Now we've explained things. How about you? Who's the guy?
He was outside. He was going to arrest us. I don't know whether you realize it, but we're well and truly mixed up in a revolution.
See, Helen? What did Uncle Stevie say?
Oh, Brett, what are they going to do with us?
We're probably marked down for a firing squad.
No.
As friends of Strucker.
Maybe that includes me,
No
too.
doubt.
Hey, this is serious. We better not waste time. Let's get out of here.
To where? The airport?
You said it. Ready, baby? I got the tickets.
Yes, Steve, I'm ready.
Just a minute.
It's no good trying to stop me, Brett.
I've no intention of stopping you, but other people might have. You won't have a hope of leaving this place with your passports. I tried to get across the border and almost stopped a bullet.
What are we going to do then?
Child is waking. You must have slugged him pretty hard.
My head.
Oh, I'll bet he's wishing it was someone else's.
Oh, what have you done with my gun?
It's right here in my hand, old boy. And if you try any funny tricks, you'll know all about it.
Look, this isn't getting us out of here.
Let's go, Steve. Let's give it a try.
Stay right where you are, Steve.
I thought you said you weren't stopping me.
I've changed my mind. Give me the tickets.
Now, you listen here to me.
I'm dead serious, Steve. Give them to me.
Well, of all the... Here.
Mm-hmm. Paris, eh? Flight 35, departing at 12:10.
You are my prisoners. I demand that you come with me.
You got your facts mixed, Buster. The man who holds the gun is boss in my language.
Brett, please let us go.
What's the use, baby? You heard what he said. We'd never get past the airport gates.
But if we stay here, we'll be... We've got to get out. We must.
Get on your feet, Captain.
You will regret this. I only have to call for my men.
And you'll get a bullet right between the eyes. If you people are going to declare war on us, we can do the same.
You will never get out of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that for?
That's a nice uniform the captain is wearing.
Maybe I like his haircut, too, but that's not going to get us out of...
Hey, that's right. It would fit me perfectly. Or you, for that matter.
I warn you
Right down.
And a captain in uniform with a woman companion would be able to board a plane quite openly, with no questions asked.
Just a minute, Brett. I bought those tickets, remember?
All's fair in love and war, Steve, and this is a mixture of both.
Just what are you getting at, pal?
Helen's getting out alive, and one of us is going with her.
Yeah, but which one?
The one she's really in love with. And now we're going to find out which of us it is.
was quite a situation Brett Monahan found himself in. As a businessman in the country, he'd been a close friend of the now ex-dictator, and after he was turned back at the road control, he knew the trouble was looming up. He'd driven home because his first thought was for the safety of his wife, but now he found someone else was just as concerned about her safety, and had been for quite a time. So they had 2 plane tickets between the 3 of them.
Only one of us is going to board that plane, Steve, and I'm going to decide which of us it'll be.
Well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Helen would hardly run off with me if she didn't love me. Right, Helen?
I suppose so.
You suppose so? What kind of talk is that?
You might as well all surrender to me. It will be quite futile to try to escape.
Pipe down, big boy, or you'll take another nap.
What's your name, Captain?
It is no business of yours.
The punches I gave you last time were only beginners. What's your name?
Dimitri.
Show me your papers.
This is an outrage.
Your papers, please, Captain.
Here.
Mm-hmm. Anton Dimitri. All nicely signed and stamped by the leaders of the revolution. These will get us through anywhere.
Listen, hadn't we better be making up our minds?
There's not much use leaving for a few hours yet. That gives us plenty of time.
Brett.
Yes?
Brett, there's no time to lose. We should get out of here.
The only chances we have is to arrive at the airport just before the plane takes off. If we have to hang around, people might start asking questions.
You said us. Meaning you and Helen?
Not necessarily.
Listen, I bought those tickets, and one of them is rightfully mine.
This gun says the tickets belong to us. All 3 of us. And that I'll make the decision.
Yeah, I guess it does.
And it also says that I will face the firing squad in your place.
That's very kind of you.
I will have no choice in the matter. Our leader does not take kindly to officers who fail in their duty.
That's your worry, Dimitri. Helen?
Yes, Brett?
Helen, why did you do it? Because you were tired of me?
Brett,
I want to know.
Tell him, Helen. You've been tired of him for years. You were sick of the sight of him. You couldn't stand it any longer.
No, that's not true.
Hey, don't we change our minds a little fast?
Come on, Helen. Is that true? Were you sick of the sight of me?
I was sick of this godforsaken city. I was sick of the smells and the heat and the people, Brett. I just had to get away from it.
You could have mentioned it to me.
What good would that have done? You were stuck here for life. I could see that.
And because you were tired of me, you decided to run off with Steve. Wasn't that a pretty drastic step?
Oh, Brett, can't you understand?
Open up in there! Open up! It is my lieutenant. You better give me that gun.
Don't give it to him, Brett.
Open up!
You're going to answer the door, Dimitri.
But
You're going to tell him that everything's all right.
I will not be a traitor to my people.
You can either be a dead hero or a live card. Take your choice.
I refuse.
You've got 5 seconds to open the door. And my gun's pointed right at your back.
What is it, Lieutenant?
I'm sorry, Captain. I thought...
Must you bang on the door like a fool? What's the trouble?
You said you were going to arrest the traitors when you did not show up. I thought...
I'm having a last drink with them. They requested it. One grants the last request of all condemned.
I am sorry, Captain.
Now get yourself from my presence before I have you court-martialed.
Yes, sir. I apologize once again for it.
Pretty good, Captain. I could have done better myself.
It will mean the court-martial for me. I will be shot by my own soldiers.
At least you'll be among friends.
What time does the purge start, Dimitri?
There will be no purge. Our people have already removed those holding positions of power. We do not intend to spill unnecessary blood.
Listen, we were trying to decide something, remember?
We're going to decide it here and now. Helen.
Yes, Brett.
You still love me?
Yes, I do.
Now, wait a minute.
You keep out of this. Helen, if I say I'm willing to take you back and forget everything, would you leave on that plane with me?
Oh, darling, of course. Brett, let's get out of here. Now, right away. Brett, darling, why don't we go now? Well, quickly, let's leave here.
Behold, the girl who last night told me she couldn't stand you. Don't fool yourself, Brett. You've got the gun and those tickets. Without them, Helen wouldn't even spare you a smile.
Is that true, Helen?
No.
In this country, when there is trouble over a woman, we have an easy way to decide it.
Who asked you to butt in?
Go on, Dmitri. What's this easy way?
You have a pistol. It holds 6 rounds. You merely remove 5 of them
And proceed to blow our brains out. Not for this boy. The only Russian thing I like is vodka, and I never was a gambler.
It was only a suggestion. Perhaps before you leave, you'll be so kind as to leave me the pistol to use.
Leave you the pistol? What for?
I would require only 1 bullet. It is better than disgrace.
You're serious, then, about the firing squad?
I'm afraid so. It is me who will be blamed for your escape.
And one of us is going to keep you company. Well, who's it going to be, Brett?
Helen, supposing I said you could go on that plane with Steve, what would you do?
You'd do it, baby, wouldn't you?
Would you?
No, Brett.
All right. You're quite free to walk out of here together. Well?
Come on, baby.
You're not joking.
You heard what I said.
Well, give me the tickets. Brett, get the tickets.
Who do you love, Helen? Me or Steve?
I don't know.
She loves the guy who has the tickets. Isn't that right?
No, it's not right.
You better decide soon. And I'd appreciate it if you'd put that gun down.
The gun's staying with me, Steve, until I've made up my mind.
Maybe I can help you to make it up.
Oh!
I was a commander for 3 years, Steve.
My arm.
Get on your feet. Don't try it again, Steve.
You think I'm likely to? You know why I wanted that gun, Brett? So I could start talking sense to you.
I'm listening.
You know what I would have done? I would have said, come on, Brett, we're getting out of here. Just you and me.
Steve!
You would have done that?
Sure. Honest.
I thought you were in love with Helen.
Did I ever say that? I'm in love with life. Come on, Brett, we're getting out.
Don't you think you've got a duty to Helen?
Duty nothing.
Oh, Brett, don't listen to him. I love you. I've loved you all along. Can't you see that?
When you have finished trying to make up your minds, give me that gun. For me, there's only one end to all this.
Brett, take me back, please. I'm your wife.
Yeah. And she was all set to walk out on you tonight.
Oh.
Fella, we're going to get on that plane. Come on, make your decision.
I've made it.
You have?
Yes. I know who I'm going to take with me. It's the only possible decision I can make under the circumstances.
This is Mike Kanoy again. I was on that midnight plane out, along with a group of about 30 other people. Naturally, I made some inquiries about Steve Holliday, since I expected him to be on the flight. And through making those inquiries, I came to meet Brett Monahan. It was on the long flight to Paris that he told me this story of the choice that he made.
Well, there you are, Mr. Kanoy. Sorry if Steve was a friend of yours. It was the only thing I could do under the circumstances.
Oh, forget it. Steve was no more than an acquaintance. I think he acted pretty badly.
They'll get out. They won't put him in front of a firing squad as they would have my friend here.
Mr. Monahan is a kind man, sir. He has done for me a great service.
And think nothing of it. After all, Captain Dmitri, you were the one who most deserved the extra ticket.
You have been listening to Lionel Merton as Mike Conoy in another exciting episode in the series, Europe Confidential.
This is Basil Rathbone again. As Mike takes the copy out of his typewriter to file his story, our play for today comes to an end. Well, goodbye now till we meet again to listen to another of the world's greatest mysteries.
Presenting the world's greatest mysteries. And now, your host.
This is Basil Rathbone. Once again, I bring you mystery. What's your pleasure for today? Gaslight or neon? Well, let's take our mystery in the modern manner. A tale as up-to-date as today's newspaper. Our storyteller works for the Paris edition of a famous American newspaper, and his job is to investigate the stories behind the headlines. Sometimes from small beginnings, a paragraph tucked away on page 6, shall we say, Mike finds the lead to big and exciting news. Take today's story, for instance. If Mike hadn't... well, yes, but I mustn't tell you the story for him. Let him relate it, just as it happened to him. And now, to you. In a moment, the story begins.
Presenting Europe Confidential.
Good evening, mein Herr. So you have come to catch the sniper, huh?
Look, I guess we made a mistake.
Herr Geiler, I hope you'll pardon the question, but I just want to set my mind at rest. Did you come in just a few moments ago?
Nein, I have been lying in the warm bath for the past 20 minutes. Nor did I drop a rifle on the doorstep. I have been called many things in my time, but never a sniper. Perhaps it can be considered a distinction.
In a moment, we'll bring you Lionel Merton as Mike Conoy, the Paris correspondent of a famous American newspaper, in another exciting story in our series, Europe Confidential.
will see you tomorrow night, then.
At the same place?
Yeah. Now I must go.
Gute Nacht, Lily. Every moment away from you will be an eternity.
Sometimes you are very silly. Tomorrow at 7, Hans.
Gute Nacht, my angel. Lily! Lily!
Oh, the sniper! She's been shot! The sniper!
My name is Mike Kanoy. I write a column called Europe Confidential for a New York paper in Paris. One day last month, I flew from Paris to Berlin to get a story for my column. Story about a killer. The newspapers all called him the Sniper. He'd committed 3 murders in the space of 4 months, and the victim in each case was a young, beautiful girl. The Berlin police were almost frantic in their efforts to catch him, but so far, no luck. When the plane touched down at the airport, Ed Mills, our Berlin correspondent, was there to meet me.
Mike, you old so-and-so.
Hi, Ed.
Well, what's the big idea, moving in on my territory? Why doesn't Paris get a sniper of her own?
Well, I'll tell you, we advertised, but, well, nobody's willing to take the job. How are things anyway?
Oh, fine, just fine. Got myself a honey of an apartment in the classiest part of the city, and every Fraulein in Berlin's just crazy about me. What more could a guy want?
Well, right now, I'll settle for a cab. I'm supposed to wire in a story of Paris by 3 p.m.
My car's right outside the gates. And if you made an hotel booking, cancel it. You're staying at my place.
Well, if it won't put you out, Ed.
Oh, I got plenty of room. Come on, grab your bag out of the pile and we'll get going. Now, the thing I want to know is, how does a columnist come to be hunting a murder story?
Human interest.
In a story like this?
Well, a killer's human. People are interested.
Well, yeah, when you put it like that.
Well, I'm not after the main story. I'll leave that to you, Ed. I just want the odd angles, cute stuff, you know.
Sure. We'll be able to work together then. Although if you plan to stay in the city until the sniper's caught, you better prepare to be away from Paris for a long time.
It's like that, huh?
You can't blame the cops. Where do they start? Every time a murder's been committed, it's been in a different part of the city. The only thing each crime has in common is the victim.
Pretty girls.
Every time. Guy uses a .22 rifle, probably fitted with telescopic sights. He takes up his position on the roof of a building and waits. A pretty girl comes into view, and he fires. Crowd panics. By the time the police arrive on the scene, he's gone.
A rifle's a pretty large article to conceal.
Maybe he dismantles it and hides it under his coat. It wouldn't be difficult.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing much the cops can do except wait. Hope that the next time they catch him before he gets away.
That's about it.
Well, he's obviously crazy, but why's he got this desire to kill? Why are his victims always the same?
I can't answer that one. For this evening, I'm interviewing somebody who possibly can. Herr Dr. Atzwarn. He's one of the city's fashionable psychiatrists. Get your story phoned through as soon as we get to the flat, and then you can come along with me if you like.
Fine. I've always agreed with the guy who said anyone who goes to a psychiatrist ought to have his head read, but nevertheless, it should prove interesting.
Yes, gentlemen. The killer is psychotic, I can assure you of that. And I can also guarantee that he will continue to commit these crimes until caught.
What do you think the reason is, Doc?
Who knows? The illness could have been triggered by any number of things. The real cause probably lies buried deep in the killer's childhood. Perhaps for some reason he once wished his mother were dead. He felt guilty about his thoughts, repressed them, and they lay smoldering deep in his subconscious for many years until, at last, they are released to the conscious.
So?
Suddenly he's aware of a desire to kill, an overpowering urge to destroy beautiful women.
So he buys a rifle and sets out to do just that.
Exactly. Or perhaps he imagines himself to be repulsive to women. He feels that no woman wants him. He feels rejected, resentful. And so he takes his revenge in this way. But, gentlemen, until he is caught and examined, we can only surmise.
What sort of a guy do you think he'd be?
Well, superficially, he is probably as rational as I. He could probably hold a normal conversation with you, joke with you. And a few moments later, he could go out again and kill.
He could, in other words, be almost any adult male in Berlin.
Exactly.
Yeah, no wonder the police are having trouble trying to trace him, then.
Yeah, Herr Connoy. Compared to this, looking for a needle in a haystack would be the play of a child.
On the way back to the apartment, Ed had to call into his office. Just as we got in the door, the phone rang.
Edmund speaking. Oh, yeah, Otto. What? When? Holy smoke, where was it? Yeah, I've got it, Otto. I'll get down there right away, and thanks for the tip. Come on, Mike.
Victim number 4?
Yeah, he's killed again, and not 200 yards from this office.
It didn't take us more than 3 minutes to run down the stairs and along the street to the scene of the crime. The victim was about 20, a brunette, and very pretty. She'd been shopping, and her basket lay beside her with a parcel spilling out over the sidewalk. A big red stain was covering her white blouse. One glance told me she was dead.
Pardon me. Did you see it happen? I'm a reporter.
Oh, she was walking just ahead of me. I thought she'd fallen over. I went to help her up, and oh, the blood.
You didn't see who fired the shot?
Nine. The blood, it was everywhere.
Did you hear a shot then?
No, nothing. She was walking in front of me, and she just fell. I thought she was sick.
You don't know the girl?
She's a complete stranger to me. The blood, it was horrible. She just fell over as though she was sick.
Come on, Ed. I've seen enough. I never did have a very strong stomach for this sort of thing.
Me neither.
Out of the way there, please. Let the ambulance men through, and nobody leave until you're given permission.
And of the cops. Once again, too late.
Sergeant, have your men set up a block at the intersection, and jump to it. Let nobody through unless I tell you to. Now, who saw this happen?
Even with our press cards, it took us 15 minutes to get out of the area. The police fenced in 4 city blocks and went over every building. They questioned and searched every man they found. I think they were even suspicious of one another. Result? Nothing. Once again, the sniper had got away. Ed and I phoned our stories through to Paris and then went back to the apartment.
Whiskey bottle, glasses. Grab that pitcher of ice water, Mike.
Yeah, with pleasure.
We'll take them out on the balcony. Pleasant there this time of the evening. Go on, take a seat. I don't know about you, but I need a stiff one. I'm gonna have nightmares for a month.
Better make it 2 stiff ones.
Sudden death's bad enough, no matter who it happens to. But when it's a girl, a nice-looking kid, just a kid, in fact. Well, cheers.
Yep.
This is one time I could get tight and say I had an excuse.
You know, I've got a theory, Ed.
On the sniper?
Yeah. How come he always gets through the net? Every time. Could it be because he's, well, somebody with a reason for being on the scene?
Like who?
Well, a cop, say, or a reporter.
Interesting. What about the weapon? They let us through, okay, but they frisked us. And a cop would either have to dispose of the rifle, in which case it would probably be found, or carry it with him.
Yeah. So that theory's out.
It seems he fires the shot and then beats it immediately. By the time the first police car's on the scene, he's probably a half mile away.
Wait a minute, Ed.
Huh?
Across the road. There's somebody standing there.
Where?
He just went in one of those doors.
So what?
Ed, look, I know it's pretty dark, but I'm willing to swear that guy dropped a gun barrel out of his coat and then picked it up again.
Oh, now, come on, Mike.
I'm serious. You heard it drop yourself. You must have.
Sure, but I didn't take any notice.
Well, I did. As he stooped down and picked it up, I saw it glint. You know, the way metal will, even in the dark.
Now, look, Mike, you got this sniper business on your mind. We both have, but...
Imagination or not, I'm going to cross the street and take a look. You coming, Ed? I lost no time getting out of that apartment and onto the opposite sidewalk, and Ed came along with me, under protest. Maybe, like he said, I was going to make a fool of myself, but just maybe it was a gun barrel I'd seen clatter onto the pavement. This is the place, and here's where he dropped it.
Well, what do we do now?
Who lives in these houses?
Which door do you go in?
Well, I'm not sure. The doors of both these houses are alongside one another.
Well, one on the left's empty. Guy who lived there moved out last month.
Oh?
I think the house has been sold, but there's nobody living there yet.
And the other one?
Oh, an old man named Geiler. I think he's an invalid. Never seen him. He's got a daughter. Olga, I think her name is, and a son.
A son? How old?
22, 23, I'd say.
Uh-huh.
But listen, Mike, he's a harmless-looking guy. Looks like he wouldn't say boo to a fly.
You remember what the psychiatrist said? The sniper could be anybody. Anybody at all.
But what do we do? Just knock on the door and say, "Pardon me, but are you the sniper?"
Look, do you know these people at all?
I've spoken to the girl. She's a plain Jane, not too friendly. Just good morning, that's about all. Mike.
Stretch your vocabulary to good evening.
But listen now. Oh, why, hello there.
Herr Mills.
Yeah, it's me, Fraulein Geiler. This is my buddy, Mike Conway. He's a newspaper man like myself.
How do you do?
Will you come in?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Conway, I'll kill you with this. Well, guess you wonder what this is all about. Our calling in, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you see...
Maybe I'd better explain, Fräulein Geiler. It's really my fault, you see. Herr Mills and I are both covering the sniper story.
Oh, the sniper, yes. I just heard on the radio he has killed again.
Yeah, an hour ago, to be exact. Well, Ed and I were both there. When we came back, we were sitting up on a balcony, and I saw somebody come to your door. I couldn't see what he looked like. It was too dark, but he dropped something on the doorstep, and it looked and sounded like a rifle barrel. Then he picked it up, opened the door, and came inside.
Inside our house? The
Yeah.
sniper? But it is impossible. We have no sniper in our house. There is nobody here but my father, my brother Jero, and me.
Sure, that's what I told Mike.
Well, I don't want to scare you, Fräulein, but is your brother Jaro in?
Oh, yes, but you don't think Jero the sniper, but...
Well, do you think we could have a word with him?
Oh, certainly, Herr Connoy. It will make you happy. Although I don't know whether Jero will be pleased to be disturbed in the middle of his bath.
Fraulein... Now, I'll see what you've done. The whole family will probably sue us for defamation of character or something.
In the middle of his bath, she said.
Oh, you can sue for thousands over a thing like this. Oh, well, the paper can afford it. Ah, Herr Geiler.
Oh, good evening, mein Herr. So you have come to catch the sniper, huh?
Look, I guess we made a mistake.
Herr Geiler, I hope you'll pardon the question, but I just want to set my mind at rest. Did you come in just a few moments ago?
Nein, I have been lying in the warm bath for the past 20 minutes. Nor did I drop a rifle on the doorstep. Oh, I've been called many things in my time, but never a sniper. Perhaps it be considered a distinction.
Look, we're sorry to have bothered you.
You have nobody else living here, I suppose? A lodger, maybe?
Nobody. And if you wish now to switch the blame onto my father, bear in mind the fact that he has not worked since 5 years.
But I could swear I saw somebody.
If you disbelieve my story, you may ask my father. He will tell you that I have not stepped outside the door all evening.
Sure, I know. You thought you saw somebody go in there, you'd swear it on a stack of Bibles.
And I would.
Look, have another drink and forget about it.
Maybe he went into the house next door.
We checked, remember? Cobwebs on the doorknob. Nobody's opened that door in weeks.
Well, then they must be covering up for him for some reason.
Oh, nuts. You spoke to the guy. He was laughing about it, fortunately. He'd taken it into his mind to sue.
Yeah, that's what Dr. Atzvan said. The sniper would joke with you and then go out and kill. And he's the sort of guy that could have a grudge about his looks.
Geiler?
Well, he's no Adonis. How about that hook nose of his?
Everyone in the Geiler family seems to have it, even Olga. She's no beauty. But getting back to the kid, it still doesn't make him a killer.
Oh, what the heck. I'm going to bed. I tossed and turned all night, and the next morning I was still puzzled. It just didn't add up. Late that afternoon, I went for a stroll. I walked past the Geiler's house and stopped for a moment where I'd seen the rifle barrel fall. A shiny little object against the wall caught my eye. I stooped down and picked it up. It was a cartridge. a .22 rifle cartridge. Well, Ed?
It's a .22 cartridge right on him.
Now do you think I imagined it all last
But
night?
it still doesn't prove anything.
No?
Gerald Guyler hadn't been out when the shooting took place. His sister said so, and his father.
So, people have lied before. Whole families of them.
I know, but why? If you knew your brother was a crazy killer, would you protect him? Wouldn't you see that he was put away if only for his own good?
Sure, I would.
But Mike...
Look, Ed, last night I saw somebody trying to conceal a gun. This afternoon I find a bullet. I'm going to phone the police.
Now, hold on. We made fools enough of ourselves last night. Let's not repeat the performance.
Well, then what do we do? Forget the whole thing and wait till the sniper kills again?
Look, the sniper in every instance is killed in the early evening between, say, 8 and 10, right?
Check.
If young Guyler is the sniper, and tonight he gets the urge again, he'll leave by that door. There's no back exit. Behind the Guyler's house are more houses.
Yeah? So?
So, tonight we sit out here and watch. Just to prove you're wrong, okay?
Ed still insisted that I was making a mistake, that there was nothing in the whole thing. But before we took up our positions on the balcony, I noticed he rooted out an old Army service pistol from somewhere and stuck it in the top of his pants, just in case. Well, we sat, and we waited.
8:30. Life gets tedious, don't it?
Yeah, it's almost completely dark, and no moon.
Say, what if the sniper decides not to kill again for a month or two? Do we sit out here every night? Huh?
The door's opening.
Yeah, somebody's coming out.
Come on, Ed, and hurry. The shadowy figure set off down the street, and we followed at a safe distance. We were led through a maze of narrow, ill-lit streets and alleyways until, after we'd been walking about 20 minutes, the figure stopped at the rear of a large building which looked to be a warehouse of some kind. I grabbed Ed's arm. Hold on.
He's climbing the fire escape.
Making for the roof, I guess. What's on the other side of this building?
As far as I remember, a park.
Well lit?
In parts. A sort of lover's walk. Look, he's nearly reached the top.
Come on.
Better let me go first up the fire escape. I've got the gun.
Okay.
You'll hear us coming.
Oh, we'll have to risk it. Take it easy now.
No sign of him.
Probably on the other side of the roof.
Look, over near the skylight.
That's it.
Okay, Guyler, your game's up. Drop that rifle and get your hands high.
Ouch! Ed!
My shoulder.
Get down. Behind this chimney. Quickly. You okay?
Yeah. Bullet only grazed my arm. Here, take the gun.
You haven't got a hope, Guyler. The whole place is surrounded by police. Well, two can play at that game. Keep your head down. Drop that gun, Guyler, or we'll shoot you.
Did you get him?
That's all bluff. I can't even get my head up far enough to see him.
His rifle's empty.
I'm coming to get you, Guyler. Get your hands up and drop that... Oh, no, you don't.
Let me go! I'll kill you! Let me go!
Holy smoke!
Let me go!
Olga! Yep, it all made sense then. The reason the police had never caught the sniper was that they'd been looking for a man. A woman, even a woman wearing slacks and a duffel coat, could get through their roadblocks without causing a second glance. After shooting her victim, Olga would dismantle the rifle and strap it beneath her coat. If she hadn't dropped the barrel that night, she might still be free. Why did she do it? Well, she was a plain girl with a big nose. She thought she was ignored and ridiculed. She thought that no man wanted her. So she took her revenge in her own crazy way by killing beautiful women. Olga didn't even stand trial. She was committed to an institution. I guess she'll be there for a long time to come.
You have been listening to Lionel Merton as Mike Connoy in another exciting episode in the series, Europe Confidential.
This is Basil Rathbone again. Our half hour of mystery is almost over. Mike will be back again soon with another tale that makes the headlines behind the news. I, too, will be back to recall to you more of these stories which I hope you enjoy. Stories of mystery, suspense, intrigue, and crime. Well, goodbye now till we meet again to listen to another of the world's greatest mysteries.
Presenting the world's greatest mysteries. And now, your host.
This is Basil Rathbone. The setting for our mystery today is Europe, a continent of timeless mystery. In the aftermath of war, with its bombed cities and refugee people, there are many strange tales. Our storyteller is an American newspaper man with his headquarters in Paris. He has seen many of the events that have made the news, and the stories that he tells us concern some of these events and also tales that have never been told before. The world in which he lives is one of intrigue, suspense, and danger. His job is to put these tales into nice, clean print for your morning paper. He does not always tell the whole story, but today, to you, he tells it all.
Presenting Europe Confidential.
Monsieur Conne. The doctor is gone. The time machine has taken him 5 minutes into the future.
That steel box? I don't believe it.
No? Then allow me to show you. It is now safe to open the door.
Holy smoke.
Well?
He's gone. Just disappeared.
In a moment, we'll bring you Lionel Merton as Mike Connoy, the Paris correspondent of a famous American newspaper, in another exciting story in our series, Europe Confidential.
My name is Mike Connoy. I write a column called Europe Confidential for a New York paper here in Paris. Who was the guy who said, "Protect me from my friends"? Whoever it was must surely have had somebody like Pierre Patriou in mind. Pierre's one of my best pals, but he gets me into more trouble than my worst enemy ever could. Pierre's a big, bouncing, affable kind of guy, and he owns a big, bouncing, affable Alsatian dog called Bruno. When Bruno wags his tail, he almost knocks you over with it. When he licks your face, it's worse than being kissed by a dozen maiden aunts. So maybe you can imagine my feelings when Pierre phoned me up one evening and said,
"Mike, mon ami, I want you to do me a very small favor. Will you look after my little Bruno for a few days?"
"What? Me?"
"Well, look, I have been called out of town hurriedly. I have to fly to Rome."
"Oh, but look, Pierre..."
"I love you, my Bruno. He wags his little tail for joy whenever I mention your name, Mike. See?"
Now, look, Pierre, much as I'd like to do this for you, wouldn't it be better for Bruno's sake to put him in a kennels for a few days?
"In the kennels? My Bruno, why, Mike, an experience like that can be very unsettling to a sensitive dog. He would be among strangers. He would feel rejected, unwanted.
Yeah, but Pierre,
now,
look...
with you, Bruno would be with a friend.
Well, no doubt, but Pierre, I just haven't got room in my
And in
apartment
return for your kind help, Mike, mon ami, I am going to give you a big story for your column.
Oh?
A very big story. An exclusive one, too. About a time machine.
A what?
Oui, mon ami, you heard correctly. The story of the year. Bruno and I will come around right away.
Sit down, Pierre. You care for a whiskey?
Merci, mon ami.
Yeah, good boy. Nice, Bruno. Down, boy.
Bruno, you scallywag, do as you're told.
Yeah, that's it. Nice old Bruno.
Ah, yes, he is so very fond of you, Mike.
Yeah.
He considers you as one of his best friends. Ah, I know he will be happy here.
And now, what's this nonsense you were spouting about time machines?
Oh, it is not nonsense. Oh, so I am assured. A man called Dr. Jegel has invented a time machine here in Paris.
You don't have a spare grain of salt, do you? I'd like to take it with this gag.
Believe it or believe it not, Mike. Perhaps the man is just another crackpot, but the person who told me didn't seem to think so. He told me of this time machine in strictest confidence. He made me swear not to breathe a word of it.
Yeah, so you're telling me.
Well, you're a friend. There are no secrets between friends.
Well, what's this machine look like, then? And what does it do?
That I don't know. But you will find Dr. Jegel's address in the telephone directory. Why don't you ask him yourself? And now, Mike, I must go. My plane leaves in 30 minutes. Goodbye, Bruno. I will be gone only a few days. Ah, my little one. I'll take good care of him, Mike. If he is bad, punish him by all means. But remember, he is a very sensitive dog.
Yeah, I'll remember.
Goodbye, Mike. Ah, goodbye, Bruno.
So there I was, left with 130 pounds of sensitive Alsatian and the wildest story I'd heard since Tommy Manville said he'd never marry again. So what did I do? I locked Bruno up in my sitting room and went out to see Dr. Gigal. As Pierre had suggested, I found his address in the telephone directory. He lived on the outskirts of Paris, an hour's drive from my apartment, in a very nice-looking house set well back from the sidewalk. I strolled up the path and knocked on the door.
Yes?
Oh, good evening. Is Dr. Gigal in, please?
I am Gigal.
Oh, fine. My name is Conoy, Mike Conoy. I write a column for a paper here in Paris.
A reporter?
Well, more or less.
And what do you want, Monsieur Conoy?
Well, somebody mentioned that you were working on I don't know the correct scientific term, a time machine.
You have been misinformed.
Oh. You mean you definitely haven't been doing any experiments with time travel?
If I had, that would be my own business.
Yeah, I guess it would at that, unless you cared to change your mind.
I do not care to.
Well, we'll have it your way. But look, Dr. Gigal.
Yes?
Perhaps you'd like to make some short statement, just a few words?
Certainly.
Oh, good. And the statement?
Get off my property before I call the police. Have I made myself clear?
After my highly unsuccessful interview with Dr. Gigal, I went home to my apartment and Bruno. Man's best friend had sunk his teeth into a coffee table, chewed a pair of slippers to shreds, and was just starting on my best pair of brogues. I called him half a dozen names that would make a prairie dog hang his tail in shame, but not Bruno. He just grinned at me and wanted to play games. So I tossed him a couple of pounds of steak from the deep freeze and went to bed. Next evening, after a show, driving home, I suddenly realized I was just a few blocks away from Gigal's place. For some reason or other, I got to wondering about Gigal. I thought it'd be nice just to have a look around his house. I pulled up, swung the car around, and I headed in the direction of the Gigal residence. Why? Hunch? No, not even that. I guess I was just curious. I parked the car a few doors down the street, and within a few minutes I was walking around Gigal's house like a commoner garden prowler. The place was in darkness. I strolled around to the rear of the house, and attached to the main building was what looked to be a large workshop. I stood on tiptoes and tried to peer in the window. Suddenly I heard a noise behind me. I wheeled around, but it was too late. Everything went very, very black.
He's coming around, Doctor.
Good. So you have a slight headache, Monsieur Conoy.
I was slugged.
Would you expect for trespassing a prize?
And there's the guy who slugged me.
My assistant, Jean, and a very efficient caretaker into the bargain. Why did you come back, Conoy? Why were you snooping?
I was looking for the answers that you wouldn't supply me with last night.
Do you realize I could ring the police over this?
Yeah, I guess I'd deserve it if you did. I should have minded my own business. But you know how it is with newspaper men.
Mm-hmm.
Mind if I stand up?
Don't try anything funny, then.
I assure you I'm in no state to try anything, funny or otherwise. You certainly hit me hard.
Oh, Jean, you could have been a burglar.
I guess so.
Here, thank you. It's coffee. And here are aspirins.
Yeah, thanks.
It will make you feel better.
How long have I been out?
20 minutes or so, a little longer, perhaps.
Well, I guess I better get going. Thanks for the coffee.
And tomorrow in your paper you will write about a mad doctor who invents time machines and his assistant who attacks people, yes?
Well, I hadn't really thought about it.
Monsieur Conoy, at this stage there is nothing I want less than publicity. Particularly unfavorable, inaccurate publicity.
So?
So I will make a bargain with you. I will give you the whole truth tonight, but you must not publish any of it for 2 days.
You've got yourself a deal.
Excellent. Come this way, Monsieur Conoy. I would like to show you my time machine.
In the same way that anyone else would show you his prize snapdragons, Dr. Jigel ushered me into his workshop and proudly showed me his time machine. Jigel's workshop looked like a combination of Frankenstein's laboratory and an amateur radio ham's transmitting room. And right in the center stood a solid steel box, about 8 feet square.
And there it is, monsieur.
That's a time machine?
Yes, my own modest contribution to science.
And what if I say I don't believe it?
You don't have to.
But surely this sort of thing can't be possible.
I have brought you in here to show you that it is.
Well, I'm waiting.
It is possible to give you a demonstration, but not a very impressive one. Not at this stage, anyhow.
Well, any kind of a demonstration will do.
Very well.
May I look inside?
Certainly.
It just looks like a steel box with dials and a few switches.
That, in fact, is what it is. But the dials are to measure travel through space and time, and the switches are to control it.
Well, Doc, I'm waiting.
Jean, the controls are still set as they were this afternoon's experiment?
Oui, Doctor.
Excellent. Monsieur Connoy,
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to travel 5 minutes into the future. Please promise me not to touch anything or get in Jean's way.
I promise.
Good. All set, Jean.
The doctor is now 5 minutes in the future, Monsieur Connoy. That was the signal.
I don't believe it.
No? Then allow me to show you. It is safe now to open the door.
Holy smoke.
Well?
He's gone. Now, I happen to be a guy who doesn't believe in fairies, Santa Claus, flying saucers, or time machines. At least, up to that moment, I didn't. But right before my eyes, almost, a man had disappeared into the future. That sort of thing just can't happen. But it had. Jean closed the door again, and we waited for the doctor's return.
You see, he is back.
Well, Mr. Connoy.
It can't be.
60 years ago, they said that about the airplane. 30 years ago, about television.
But where did you go?
5 minutes into the future.
And what did you see?
Just the steel walls of my machine.
5 minutes into the future is now.
Mm-hmm.
That means we should be able to see you in that machine at this moment.
No, Monsieur Connoy, that would be impossible. That would be a paradox. There
Oh?
cannot be two Dr. Jégals existing together at the same moment.
Well, I don't quite understand.
No. You would have to be a mathematician before you could.
But tell me, why have you kept it so dark? Why haven't you told other scientists or the government?
Simply because I wish to make myself a fortune.
Oh, and how do you intend to go about that?
My fortune? You are inquisitive, aren't you?
That's my job.
I suppose there's no harm in telling you. I have formed a company, Monsieur Connoy. Shareholders consist of myself and 8 prominent Paris businessmen and financiers. Altogether, our capital amounts to almost 100 million francs.
And what are you going to do? Mass produce these machines?
Oh, no. On the contrary. We will ensure that this machine remains the only one in existence.
Well, and how do you plan to make money?
Tomorrow, Monsieur Connoy, the other shareholders will come to my laboratory. The chairman and the secretary will have with them 90% of our capital converted into gold.
Yeah, I'm with you so far.
Jean and I will make a 100-year trip into the future. With the gold, we will purchase several objects.
What sort of objects?
Things which have not yet been invented.
Huh?
Here, in 1957, the inventions will be priceless. They will be worth billions to us.
But surely it can't be possible.
I assure you it is.
But how could... Oh, okay, I give in. I won't even try to work it out. What time tomorrow do you plan this thing, and how long will you be away?
At 4 p.m. tomorrow, we will make our trip. 12 hours later, we shall return. And before you ask your next question, Monsieur Conoy, the answer is yes, you may come and watch. But until the journey is completed, you must not breathe a word to anybody, understand?
Sure. And thanks for allowing me to be here.
And now, Monsieur Conoy, Jean and I are both very tired.
Yeah, I'll say good night then.
Good night, Monsieur Conoy. And I trust your headache is better by tomorrow.
Have you ever had the feeling of complete unreality? As though what you're experiencing just can't really be true? Well, that's how I felt as I walked away from Jigal's place. My common sense told me it was surely all a pack of nonsense, but, well, for 15 minutes I sat in my car smoking. Then I decided to risk being slugged again. I was going back to Jigal's time machine. I waited nearly an hour to make sure Jigal and his bodyguard were both sound asleep. Then I crept back to the window of the workshop. It gave me no trouble. Within a few minutes, I was standing before the time machine itself. I opened the door. And I walked inside. About an hour later, I crept back to my car and drove home to my apartment. Had I discovered anything interesting? I'd love to tell you, but, well, that would spoil the story, wouldn't it? Back home, my friend Bruno was waiting for me. Hello, Mutt. Yeah, good boy. Yeah, down, boy. I'm your friend, not your dinner. Okay, I'll feed you in a minute. Bruno, old boy, tomorrow afternoon you're going to take part in a very interesting experiment. Yeah, an experiment with time travel. What do you think about that, huh? Next afternoon at 3:35, I arrived at Jigal's house. The 8 other members of the company were assembled in the workshop. Jigal introduced me, and I began chatting to a Monsieur Blanquelin, whose firm makes a very well-known make of refrigerator here in Paris. Oh, Monsieur Conoy, I can see no reason at all why this venture should not prove a success. I take it you've invested pretty heavily in the project. Most of us have. Well, have you investigated Dr. Jigal's equipment at all? Investigated it? No. But the doctor has explained the principle of it to us on several occasions. Why should we have it investigated? Dr. Jigal has demonstrated time travel to us on a dozen or more times. That parcel over there is the gold? That is correct. Why was gold chosen? Because 100 years from now, our present currency will be worthless. Gold, however, maintains its value. I see, and...
Gentlemen, today we make history. Today my assistant and I travel in the 4th dimension, the dimension of space-time. I wish to thank every one of you for giving me the opportunity to construct this machine and to turn theory into reality. Profitable reality with rust. Jean and I, in a few moments, will journey into the future. When in 12 hours we return, we hope to hold the secrets to a dozen inventions, which will mean fortunes for all of us. Gentlemen, once again, I thank you.
Dr. Jigal, on behalf of my colleagues, I should like to wish you all luck and Godspeed.
Thank you. Is everything ready, Jean?
Yes, Doctor. The switches are set.
And now, the gold.
It is very heavy. One moment, Dr. Jigal. Before you go, do you have any statement to make?
All I can say is that I trust our trip will prove successful. When I return, Mr. Conoy, I hope to be able to tell you much more. And now, goodbye, gentlemen.
Well, they are gone. And now all we can do is to wait.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it, Monsieur Blanclair. I somehow feel that you won't be waiting for very long.
What do you mean by that, young man?
Oh, let's call it a hunch.
A hunch?
An old American term meaning premonition. See what I mean? Never fails.
Sounds like a dog.
Hey! Take him off! Get away! Get away! Get away! Get him off! Quickly, Jean! The door! Get him away from me!
Can it be a dog?
Here, Bruno. Here, Bruno. Good boy.
Can it be a dog from the future?
No, Monsieur Blanclair. It's a dog from the underground.
Underground?
Yeah. Gentlemen, may I demonstrate something to you?
No, no! Keep away from my machine!
Take it easy, Doctor. I just want to show these gents how your invention operated.
A trapdoor.
Yeah, hidden beneath that metal plate. It leads to a tunnel which emerges at the end of the doctor's garden.
Blast you, Conoy!
It was all a
Blast you!
Exactly. Dr. Jegal intended making a trip with your gold, just as he said, but his journey was not into the future. He had no intention of coming back. If I were you, gentlemen, I'd ring for the gendarmes.
Monsieur Conoy, on behalf of the other shareholders, I must thank you.
Oh, think nothing of it. It was more luck than anything else. I suspected Jegal for a phony from the start. When I snooped around last night and found that trapdoor in the tunnel, I was sure of the fact.
So you put the dog in the tunnel?
Yeah. Bruno didn't attack them. He just wanted to be friendly. But Jegal and Jean weren't to know that.
We should have suspected that it was all a trick. But there was something about the doctor's manner.
Oh, he was a first-rate confidence man. That's not the first time he swindled anybody. I checked on his record this morning. 8 previous convictions in the past 20 years. My prediction is that he'll be behind bars for quite some time. All right, come on, Bruno. We got to go home and write a story. And so ended the episode of Dr. Jegal and the Time Machine. Bruno had proved very useful. But when Pierre called for him 2 days later, I wasn't sorry to see him go. Pierre remarked how healthy and well-fed Bruno looked. Well, and so he should have. He'd just eaten 6 of the best pairs of shoes in Paris. My shoes.
You have been listening to Lionel Merton as Mike Conoy in another exciting episode in the series, Europe Confidential.
This is Basil Rathbone again. You've learned a little more of the secrets related by Mike from his headquarters in Paris. He'll be with us again soon with another exciting tale. So, goodbye now till we meet again to listen to another of the world's greatest mysteries.